He laughed at my thrift store dress and told me I will never be good enough for someone like him. 10 years later, I bought the company he works for and made him my assistant. My name is Samantha Rivera, and this story takes place in Chicago. I was 19 years old, a college freshman studying business administration, working part-time at a small diner to pay for tuition. That's where I met Ethan Blake. He is tall, charming, and from a wealthy family. He was 21, studying finance, and drove a sleek black BMW while I took the bus every day. Despite our different backgrounds, I was smitten. He was everything I thought I wanted: confident, successful, and ambitious. And for a while, I thought he liked me too. We started dating. I'd save up to look nice for him, even if it meant skipping meals. We went to fancy restaurants, but I always pretended I wasn't hungry because I couldn't afford to split the bill. Still, I told myself love was worth it. At first, he seemed sweet, but little comments started creeping in. "Wow, you've never been to Paris. That's cute. You're wearing that again? Didn't you wear it last week?" I laughed it off because I thought he was just teasing me. Oh, how wrong I was. The first real crack showed up at his fraternity's charity gala. I spent hours finding a dress from a thrift store. It was simple but elegant, or so I thought. When I walked in, Ethan froze. His friends stared at me like I didn't belong. And then he laughed, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Wow, Sam, vintage," or "just broke." The room erupted in chuckles. My cheeks burned. I wanted to disappear. He didn't stop there. He spent the rest of the night ignoring me, hanging out with his friends, and leaving me alone at the table like I was invisible. The next day, he called me and said the words, "I'll never forget. You're sweet, but let's be real. You're not in my league. You should find someone on your level." I hung up and cried for hours. That humiliation burned so deep it became fuel. That day, I made myself a promise. One day, Ethan Blake will regret ever laughing at me. Fast forward 10 years later, I'm 29, and my life looks very different. After that breakup, I threw myself into my studies. I worked 3 jobs, graduated top of my class, and started my own tech consulting firm. Years of sleepless nights and relentless work paid off. I landed major clients, scaled the business, and eventually sold one of my startups for $20 million. One day, an investment opportunity crossed my desk. A struggling finance firm looking for a buyer. The name hit me like lightning. Blake and Associates, the same company Ethan worked for. Without hesitation, I bought 51% of the shares and became the majority owner. And guess who was still there after all these years? Ethan, now an assistant manager, barely climbing the ladder. The first day I walked into the office, heads turned. I was no longer the girl in the thrift store dress. I was the CEO in a custom designer suit, walking in like I owned the place, because I did. Ethan saw me and went pale. Samantha. "Hello, Ethan," I said with the sweetest smile. "Please, bring me a coffee. Black, no sugar." The look on his face was priceless. But I didn't fire him. I kept him on as my personal assistant. Every meeting, every email, he had to answer to me. The same man who once said I wasn't in his league now worked for me. Every time he brought me coffee, I remembered that night at the gala. And every time, I smiled. Eventually, Ethan tried to apologize. He said he was young and stupid, that he didn't mean to hurt me. I accepted his apology, but not because I wanted revenge anymore. You see, by then, I had moved on. I'd built a life I was proud of. I had real friends, real success, and self-respect. Ethan, he was just a reminder of how far I'd come. So I let him go with a generous severance package and a lesson he'll never forget. Never underestimate someone because of where they start. Subscribe to SilkMirror for more stories where betrayal meets poetic justice. The tables always turn. Success is the sweetest revenge, and it's best served with grace.